I am very happy to introduce respected Dr. Anil Kakodkar, our chief guest, to this August gathering. Anil Kakodkar was born on 11th November 1943. He joined the Baba Atomic Research Center, BRC, in 1964, following the one-year postgraduate training with top rank in nuclear science and technology in the then Atomic Energy Establishment. He became the director of BRC in the year 1996 and was a chairman Atomic Energy Commission and secretary to the Government of India, Department of Atomic Energy during the years 2000 to 2009. Currently, he is holding INAE Satish Dhawan Chair of Engineering Science, Engineering Eminence at BRC, and he is the chairman of Technology Information Forecasting and Assessment Council, DST, Government of India. Kakodkar has worked for the development of the atomic energy program in India throughout his professional life. Undeterred by the restrictions imposed by the international community, he succeeded in developing various systems for the pressurized heavy water reactor and in building the Dhruva reactor. Kakodkar has been a key contributor to India's strategic program. He was one among the chosen few involved in the first successful peaceful nuclear explosion experiment that India conducted on May 18, 1974 at Pokhran, and later he played a key role in the series of successful nuclear tests conducted during May 1998 again at Pokhran. India also demonstrated nuclear submarine power pack technology under Kakodkar's leadership. Kakodkar's sterling leadership led to a significant boost to India's nuclear power program, notwithstanding the uranium supply constraints. As a result, and with the completion of projects launched under his leadership, India's nuclear generation capacity is set to reach 10,000 megawatt electric, as well as poised for a rapid scale-up thereafter. The comprehensive and robust program under Kakodkar's leadership has with advanced nuclear technology. Kakodkar has made many innovative contributions to human resource development activities. Establishments such as National Institute of Science Education and Research, DAE Mumbai University Center for Basic Sciences, and Homi Bhabha National Institute, Dr. Kakodkar started, are expected to result in a fresh wave of human resource development, generating greater experimental capabilities and bringing in linkage between basic research and technology development for the acceleration of India's multifaceted atomic energy program. A committee under his chairmanship has worked out a detailed report for greater autonomy of IITs and taking them to world-class level. He also chaired an empowered committee to implement its recommendations. Another committee led by him has carried similar exercise in the context of NITs. He also led a committee set up by the government of Maharashtra to look at higher education in the state. The committee has made important recommendations that could lead to a paradigm change for improvement of higher education in the state. Another high-level committee under his chairmanship has made comprehensive recommendations for improvement of safety on Indian railways. Kakodkar has also led a comprehensive technology information forecasting and assessment council activity to develop a technology vision 2035 for the country. Kakodkar was chairman, Solar Energy Corporation in its formative stage. He was also chairman of Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics during 2006 to 2012. He was chairman, now he is chairman governing board, Inter-University Accelerator Center, New Delhi, and chairman board of governors of the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay during 2006 to 2015. Some current key engagements of Dr. Kakodkar are: he is the chairman of Scientific Advisory Committee on Hydrocarbons of Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. He is the chairman of Solar Energy Research Advisory Council, Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission, is a member Atomic Energy Commission, member ONGC Energy Center Trust, member Board of Trustees, Council on Energy, Environment and Water, is a member Advisory Committee on Promotion of Research in Science and Technology in universities and other academic, scientific and engineering institutions, MHRD. He is a member of Board of Trustees of Asiatic Society. Dr. Kakodkar is a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering, Indian Academy of Sciences, the National Academy of Sciences, India, and Maharashtra Academy of Sciences. Dr. Kakodkar has received 23 honorary doctorates in science, literature, and philosophy. I am not giving the details. Sir, please excuse me for not giving the details. Kakodkar is a recipient of all the 3 Padma Awards, Padma Shri in 1998, Padma Bhushan in 1999, Padma Vibhushan in 2009. Dr. Kakodkar has over 50 national honors and awards to his credit. To name a few, INAE Lifetime Contribution Award in Engineering 2006, INS Omi Baba Lifetime Achievement Award in 2009, Maharashtra Ratna in 2010. Dr. Kakodkar has received awards from 3 state governments, Goa, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Sir, I request you to deliver the graduation ceremonial address.
His Holiness Dr. Shri Shri Sivakumara Swamiji, Mathadhyaksha of Shri Siddhaganga Math, Shri Shri Siddhalinga Swamiji, President of Shri Siddhaganga Education Society, and this graduation function is, I think, very blessed by benign presence of both Swamijis. Professor K. Siddhappa, Chairman, Governing Council of Siddhaganga Institute of Technology, Shri Nanjundappa, Secretary, Shri Siddhaganga Education Society, Dr. Channabasappa, Director, Siddhaganga Institute of Technology, Dr. Shivakumaraya, Principal of the SIT, members of Board of Management, members of Governing Council, members of Academic Council of SIT, distinguished invitees, members of faculty and staff, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed very happy to be here today to participate in the 7th graduation ceremony of Siddhaganga Institute of Technology. SIT has been ranked, as was mentioned earlier, among the top 100 institutions in the country in the recently released National Institution Ranking Framework, and has been placed under the gold category in AICTE CII survey of Industry Link Institutions 2015. Graduation Day is a special day in the calendar of an institution of learning. It marks the culmination of a phase of learning, and after having satisfied that the student is now ready to face and contribute to the world at large in the chosen domain of learning and training as a worthy individual, the elders give the final advice and blessings for a further journey that the student is embarking upon. It is a solemn occasion for the students and also for the teachers. The bond between teachers and the students that is supposed to have been built through years of mentoring, brings in an emotional content to the graduation day. I wish to use this occasion to first thank the teachers who in their own way have contributed to shaping the young minds while they are with the institution. My congratulations to all students, those are graduating today. Some of you who have been specially recognized deserve our highest appreciation. All of you have gone through your respective courses of studies and have been adjudged to be worthy of the degrees that have been awarded to you. You are now ready to face the exciting world out there. As an educated individual, you have to be an important part of the nation-building process through your respective capabilities that you have acquired here. Today, there is ample scope for innovation and entrepreneurship. The way our country is evolving, the opportunities for the capable ones will continuously expand. I wish all of you graduating today a very successful career ahead. May all your dreams be fully realized. I have spent almost entire professional life on the development of national capability in the area of atomic energy. Last few years, I am devoting time on the challenges related to energy, education, and leveraging science for societal development. A key aspect that I have realized as a result of this experience is the need to transform our education to make it a more effective human resource building exercise that empowers every youth to become a prime mover to take the country forward and to add net value rather than become a net burden on the society. This must happen in the present day context. At the same time, our education system should also recognize the need of emerging tomorrow and lead efforts to prepare our society for the new knowledge era that is fast emerging. I would like to use this occasion to talk about this theme. So let me first talk about development-linked rural education. Talking about country as a whole, 2/3 of our people still live in villages. Their average income is only about half the average income of their urban counterparts. Creating conditions to raise their income to become comparable or better than what is possible in urban areas is, in my view, the critical challenge before our education and development programs. While the rural habitat that perhaps took shape in an agrarian era and the urban habitat that probably became the preferred choice in the industrial era, they are here to stay. The new age society is more likely to be driven by a knowledge-driven economy and could equally flourish in both rural as well as urban habitat. Knowledge technologies do allow a much higher degree of democratization and decentralization. Under such a condition, rural habitat could well become the preferred alternative on account of the possibility of greater proximity with the nature, provided there is adequate supporting infrastructure. We thus have an opportunity to not only bridge the urban-rural divide, but also to facilitate rural youth who constitute a far bigger segment of our so-called demographic dividend to leapfrog and to realize their full potential, leveraging the opportunities that would be available in the emerging knowledge era. This could actually mean a quantum jump in the India development story. How can this be done? The answer lies in creating greater livelihood opportunities in villages well beyond agriculture and allied activities, and ensuring that the young students are well prepared to capitalize on these opportunities as they come out of schools and colleges. Thanks to game-changing developments that have taken place in respect of cyberspace, ICT, and direct employment of people that they can cause, each youth can now put together a decent earning opportunity for himself or herself, provided he or she, through the education imparted, becomes knowledgeable enough about the socio-economic opportunities around, either existing or newly created, and has acquired the skills to benefit from them. A time-tested way to facilitate a holistic learning environment necessary for realizing such an objective is to link imparting of knowledge with socially useful productive work while in our education institutions. Making socially useful productive work close to real-world socio-economic environment would require linking education with real-life development activities. Through this mode, the education domain can simultaneously contribute to capable human resource as well as to new inputs for our society as well as industry through the following things. Number one, new innovations based on latest knowledge acquisitions ahead of others. This would create a superior edge for our country in terms of new products and processes, giving us a competitive edge in the global market. Number two, linking knowledge institutions to ongoing socio-economic activities in business or industrial entities to overcome obsolescence issues and to maintain / regain their competitiveness. And number three, exploring issues of development of strata at or near to the base of socio-economic pyramid and devise as well as implement solutions to minimize disparities in our society. I do believe that linking education and development this way would significantly enrich higher education while at the same time paving the way for development on a more sound footing in the bottom-up mode. A typical framework to pursue such an approach is to set up what I call a sillage, best of city in a village, a knowledge center within a rural domain with modern research and living facilities to attract capable researchers. Such a sillage could be a standalone rural university, a rural campus of an existing university, or a higher education institution in a rural area. A rural human and resource development facility should be established in each sillage to support outreach activities in terms of awareness, demonstration, training, guidance in deployment, and problem solving related to technologies relevant to enhancement of livelihood of rural people. Initially, such technologies could be sourced from outside, but eventually one could expect a significant technological contribution from the sillage itself through research and development work done by the faculty and students of sillage. To enhance outreach, several technology demonstration centers could be established in the neighborhood for the benefit of local population. Such centers could also house a range of relevant technologies that can facilitate higher livelihood with a much broader outlook, much the same way as Krishi Vignan Kendras do in the context of agriculture. We can call such demonstration centers as Advanced Knowledge-Based Rural Technology Initiative, AKRUTI for short. Active programmatic linkages between a SILAGE, RHRDF and AKRUTIs in terms of addressing technological needs of the neighborhood as well as identifying and pursuing new research problems relevant to the development needs of the area would not only benefit the neighborhood through technology and capacity building, but also the knowledge institutions hosting RHRDF and AKRUTIs through greater relevance and impact of research being carried out. Depending on the academic and research excellence in the institution, I have no hesitation to say that through the choice of original problems needing solutions, we can even expect the research in such institutions to become world class. In addition to promoting technology-enabled development and related livelihood, a SILAGE can also contribute to a new paradigm in the school education around. A high bandwidth node at SILAGE, for example, a national knowledge network node, could facilitate broadband connectivity in about 20-25 kilometer radius surrounding the SILAGE through a low-cost broadband wireless technology, thus enabling schools in the rural neighborhood to reap the benefits of modern-day ICT capability. Proximity of AKRUTIs with schools could further enrich education through exposure to real-life, socially useful, productive work relevant to the new technology era that we seek to usher in. I believe that such an ecosystem would contribute to improved quality of education, higher livelihood, and an ambience of innovation that would move the neighborhood upwards on the path of socio-economic development consistent with the objectives set earlier. As a part of activities promoted by Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission in Maharashtra, these ideas are being experimented upon with the support of a number of institutions and individuals in an institution called SWERI at Gopalpur near Pandharpur. Another experiment has been initiated at Gondwana University in Gadchiroli to try out these ideas in the context of forest and tribal neighborhood. I strongly believe that for students in higher education system to be fully equipped to be able to effectively engage with development and growth processes in the society, the nation and the world at large, we must pay simultaneous attention to multiple layers of learning. These layers include 1. Learning all the way up to the frontiers of knowledge in chosen subjects in an ambience of research that continuously pushes these frontiers, knowledge frontiers forward, gaining proficiency and hands-on skills in procedural knowledge related to a chosen area of new creation, services, and other socio-economic and cultural activities, and 3. Engagement with society and environment in the context of learning being pursued and exposure to basic human values. Unfortunately, today, our education institutions do not provide a comprehensive ambience for these layers of learning. In addition, we have barriers for students to benefit from a holistic learning experience through participation in all these three layers simultaneously. In a sillage, we should be able to eliminate this serious shortcoming. Let me now move to another aspect, and that is making our R&D expenditure more productive. Today, in our country, our total expenditure on research and development is comparable to or larger than countries like Israel, Canada, Sweden, UK, Switzerland, Finland, and others. And our spending in R&D per full-time equivalent scientist is also comparable with countries that have the highest spending in this regard. India should thus have been a technology superpower, at least comparable to countries listed above. Unfortunately, barring a few exceptions, we are still very dependent on other countries for our technology needs. While there is definitely a need to enhance our R&D spending, the need to bring in better accountability in terms of outcomes in our S&T system is perhaps equally, if not more important and urgent. This is a challenge that our knowledge institutions and our industries must meet at the earliest. A sillage should be able to meet this challenge squarely in the context of rural India, which soon is poised to become a large market even when seen in the global perspective. It is important that our research is driven by important problems rather than just pursuing what can be done or what is more fashionable. Thank you. Handling important problems, and they may be important either in the knowledge context or in technology context, by and large would need a multidisciplinary approach involving a large number of researchers or teams working together. In either case, wherever possible, there should be a translation of a new research finding to new technology products. The ecosystem for this purpose should also involve entrepreneurs along with other professionals capable of supporting such a translation effort. I am aware of our universities and institutions being conscious of this need, and they're making some effort in this context. However, much more needs to be done. There are many possibilities of technology being brought to bear on societal issues. Low-cost, high-tech solutions capable of meeting the needs of poor people in remote and rural areas are becoming increasingly important for a country like India and many other developing countries. Such solutions should be capable of working within the expertise of local people rather than high-level experts who are unlikely to be available locally. Our students getting exposed to such developmental activities would not only give them a good problem-solving experience, but also emotionally bind them with India in true sense. We need to recognize that above approaches would invariably involve interdisciplinary efforts involving sciences, technology, engineering, medicine, humanities, economics, management, and other disciplines, depending on the objective of a particular development effort. Opportunities for students to participate in applications of such interdisciplinary efforts to address a particular challenge enable a holistic learning experience for them. Alongside, this builds the capability to focus R&D to solving real life problems that needs to be solved rather than looking for problems that can be solved through the research one is engaged in. Quality of education as well as of research improves considerably in the process. Let me now move to preparing for a new age society. We are likely to see much greater symbiosis between human and machine intelligence with far greater opportunities for human creativity. Technology is thus likely to change our lives in multiple ways. Clearly, technological competence is the key to our staying ahead in today's competitive world. We need to be conscious about the impact of new technologies on our lives and prepare our societies to benefit from them while preventing their ill effects. Opportunities and threats created by increasingly competitive, interconnected world, the potential for greater disparities if policies are not managed well, and the threat to our time-tested value system are some of the major challenges before our society today. We must acknowledge that apart from people who have engaged themselves in mass movements in different times, a very large number of individuals who have made key contribution in shaping societal evolution in a healthy manner and in the right direction through their wisdom, sustained work, and passionate contributions. In fact, the benign presence of Swamijis here at this graduation function is another important example of this kind. We need many such people and in large numbers who can guide and shape the society as it evolves through knowledge and technology-driven transitions on one side and the rapid mixing of cultures driven by instant communications that take place today on the other. Such people, through their research and analysis based deeper understanding and foresight, can present an authentic assessment of the transitions around, create innovative approaches to maximize the gains and minimize the threats, and help prepare our youth with capability to effectively deal with the evolving situation. The very fact that Indian traditions and culture have survived through centuries of external influence gives us the hope about our societies responding correctly to the changing paradigm. All of us associated with knowledge activities, one way or the other, have the opportunity to be a part of such people, both by ourselves as well as through the students whom we teach and mentor. Through our teaching, we should be all the way up to the frontiers of knowledge. Through our research, we should push the frontiers of knowledge forward. Through development of technologies at the cutting edge, through nurturing a spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship, and with strong commitment to our time-tested value system, we have the opportunity to nurture individuals who can be an important part of people who can shape the destiny of our nation. We all must resolve to make that happen through our respective pursuits of scholarship, research, and engagement with the society and industry around. Let me now come to closing this address. I do wish that all of you would give some serious thought to these issues and decide your respective course of action. It should be our collective effort to progressively move towards making the world a better place to live. Through a lifelong learning process and maintaining our knowledge institutions, industry, and the society interconnected with each other, each one of us, regardless of the career that we decide to pursue, can meaningfully contribute to this objective. After all, we are all here in this world to play our respective roles. Our happiness and joy of life depends on how well we play our roles. To dear students, I would once again wish all of you well in your further pursuits. I am certain you would rise progressively in your respective careers. I do hope that as you rise, you will retain in you a spirit of trusteeship and contribute substantially to your roots, the society around, the institutions that brought you up, and the nation at large. It is the spirit of trusteeship and the desire to support others who were not as fortunate or as successful as us that makes this world a better place. We must remember that our happiness depends on happiness all around us. Once again, my best wishes to you all. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. The Dean Academic Dr. K.S. Shashishekhar is requested to invite the gold medalists and award winners to receive the same.
Honorable Dr. Anil Kakorkar, sir, I request you to kindly hand over the medals, awards and certificates. Congratulations to all the candidates. I request our rank holders and award winners to receive the medals and awards from the chief guest. First, I call upon Ms. Bhagyalakshmi of Civil Engineering, who is awarded 5 medals: SIT Gold Medal, SIT Alumni Kerala and Qatar Chapter Gold Medal, late Sri Sudham Shisat Memorial Gold Medal instituted by Sri Ketan Shisat, Sri Pratul A. Patel Gold Medal for securing first rank. She is also awarded Srimati Pratibha Channabasavaya Gold Medal for a girl student securing highest CGPA in civil engineering. Next, I call Mr. Vinay Talanki of Mechanical Engineering, who is awarded 6 gold medals: SIT Gold Medal, Faculty Department of Mechanical Engineering Gold Medal, Dr. Sojan Lal Gold Medal, Srimati Meera Reddy Gold Medal instituted by Dr. KPJ Reddy, Tumkur Nanjappa Memorial Gold Medal instituted by Dr. N. Chandrasekhar, and Srimati R.S. Kamalamma and Sri Raymond Siddhaya Gold Medal instituted by Dr. H.R. Purushottam for securing first rank. Next is Chandramouli Zan of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. She is awarded 2 medals: SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank and Professor Basurajaya Gold Medal for securing highest marks in network analysis and electrical machine design. Next, I call Ms. Bhagyashri A. Hegde of Electronics and Communication. She is awarded 4 gold medals: SIT Gold Medal, Shri Shekhar B. Chandrasekhar Gold Medal for securing first rank, Shri B. Shivarna and Srimati Nagaratnama Gold Medal instituted by Dr. B.S. Shashikala for securing highest marks in third semester mathematics. Next is Miss Manjushri C of Chemical Engineering. She is awarded 6 gold medals, SIT gold medal, Srimati Vijay Devi and Shri Keval Chand Ohra gold medal instituted by Shri Ravindra Ohra, Dr. T.S. Mallikarjunaya Memorial gold medal instituted by Shri T.M. Swami, SIT Alumni SI chapter gold medal, Shri K. Sridhar gold medal, Shri P. Sakarai Nadar and Srimati Chinnatayamal gold medal instituted by Guru Trust M. Ramachandrapuram for securing first rank. Next, Ms. Chandana GP of Instrumentation Technology. She is awarded 2 gold medals, SIT gold medal and Srimati Lakshmi Narasamma and Shri Anjaneya Shetty Memorial gold medal instituted by Professor G. S. Shashikumar for securing first rank. Next is Miss Rachana R of Industrial Engineering and Management. She is awarded SIT gold medal for securing first rank. Next is Miss Kirtana T.S. of Computer Science and Engineering. She is awarded 2 gold medals, SIT gold medal and Shri Gopi Keshwan gold medal for securing first rank. Next is Ms. Kavya Shri Hechan of Telecommunication Engineering. She is awarded 2 gold medals. One is SIT gold medal, second one is Sridhar Kadambi gold medal for securing first rank. Next is Mr. Nirmit Thakkar of Biotechnology. He is awarded 2 gold medals, SIT gold medal and Shri B.L. Siddhaya and Srimati Girvanama gold medal instituted by Dr. B.S. Gauri Shankar for securing first rank. ಇವನು ನಿರ್ಮಿತ್ ತಕ್ಕ ನಿರ್ಮಿತ್ ಕರಿಬೇಕಾ Next is Mr. Preetham G of Information Science and Engineering. He is awarded 2 gold medals, SIT gold medal and Alumni of Information Science and Engineering Department gold medal for securing first rank. Kaveshri. Next is Miss Subhashita Hechan of Architecture. She is awarded 2 gold medals, SIT gold medal and Rotary Tumkur gold medal for securing first rank and topping in architecture design project. Next is Mr. Nagarohit of MCA. He is awarded 1 SIT gold medal for securing first rank. Next is Miss Deepa S. of Master of Business Administration. She is awarded 2 gold medals, SIT gold medal for securing first rank, Shri Rudrappa Solapur Memorial Gold Medal for first rank in finance stream. Next is Mr. Ajit Kumar, MTech Structural Engineering. He is awarded SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank. Next is Mr. Satyajit Malode of MTech Thermal Power Engineering. He is awarded 2 gold medals, SIT Gold Medal and Tumkur Nanjappa Memorial Gold Medal instituted by Dr. N. Chandrasekhar for securing first rank. Next is Miss Shilpa CP, MTech Signal Processing. She is awarded SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank. Next, Mr. Naveen AN, MTech Computer Science and Engineering. He is awarded SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank. Next is Kiran D. Jadhav of MTech Manufacturing Science and Engineering. He is awarded SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank. Next, Miss Krutika R., MTech Computer Network Engineering. She is awarded SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank. Next is Mr. Amit Kumar S., MTech Computer Integrated Manufacturing. He is awarded SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank. Next is Miss Divya S, MTech Digital Communication Engineering. She is awarded SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank. Next is Miss Chaitra C, MTech Power Electronics. She is awarded SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank. Next is Mr. Akhil Kumar, MTech Thermal Power Engineering. He is awarded D. Basuraju Gold Medal instituted by Dr. K.L. Shivasappa, HOD Department of Chemical Engineering, for securing highest CGPA, excluding first rank, among all the PG students of all branches. Next is Miss Bindu R of Civil Engineering. She is awarded Srimati Dakshayanamma and Professor B. Gangadharaya Gold Medal for securing highest marks in reinforced cement concrete structures. Next is Miss Bindu T of Civil Engineering. She is awarded late B. Guru Shantaya and late G.R. Manjunath Memorial Gold Medal instituted by S.M. Kumaraswamy and Friends for highest marks in Structural Analysis 1 and 2. Shri G.S. Paramshivaya Gold Medal instituted by G.S.S. Murthy for scoring highest marks in water resource subjects. Next is Miss Preeti B, Electronics and Communication Engineering. She is awarded Dr. M.N. Channavasappa Gold Medal for securing highest marks in Mathematics 1 to 4 semester across all the UG programs. D. Basavaraju Gold Medal instituted by Dr. K.L. Shivasappa, HOD Department of Chemical Engineering, for securing second highest CGPA among all the students of all branches of engineering. Next is Mr. Ajay Darshan GN, Electronics and Communication Engineering. He is awarded Shri S. Vishwanath Gold Medal for securing highest marks in network analysis. Next is Miss Karishma, Telecommunication Engineering. He is awarded Dr. Krishna Prabhu Gold Medal for securing second highest CGPA in Telecommunication Engineering. Next is Miss Harshita M, Master of Business Administration. She is awarded Dr. Manu N. Kulkarni Cash Award for securing first rank in HR stream. Miss Ashwini Shanbag, in her absence, Miss Ashwini Shanbag, in her absence, is awarded SIT Gold Medal for securing first rank. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Ms. Bhagyashree A. Hegde of Electronics and Communication Engineering. She is awarded Dr. Shri Shri Shivkumara Swamiji Gold Medal for securing highest CGPA among the students of all branches of engineering. She will be receiving the award from His Holiness. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Director SIT to administer the oath to the graduating students.
All the graduating students, both PG and UG, kindly stand up for graduation ceremony oaths. Upanishads are receptacles of ancient Indian wisdom. The valuable knowledge created by those rishis and gurus is meant to benefit the mankind. Taittiriya Upanishad contains very interesting and useful advice from the Guru to the Sishya at the time of his leaving the Gurukula after completion of his education. The advice is in the form of simple sentences addressed to the student. In this program of oath taking, we will follow an interesting format. I request you to play two roles, the role of the Guru and the role of the Sishya. When I read out a sentence, let the Guru in you pronounce that sentence addressed to the Shishya in you, and let the Shishya listen with complete attention and respect. The text is supplied to you in Devanagari and Kannada scripts. Let us begin. When I read out, let your pronouncements be clear and audible. Satyam Vada. Speak the truth. Dharmam Chara. Live righteously. Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam. Do not stop self-learning. Matrudevo Bhava. Love your mother as God. Pitrudevo Bhava. Adore your father as God. Acharya Devo Bhava. Respect your teacher as God. Atithi Devo Bhava. Honor your guest as God. Prajatantum Ma Vyavachetsi. Do not cut the human chain of God's creation. Yat kinchit deyam tat shraddhaya deyam. Do not, if you have something to give that with faith. Ashraddhaya nadeyam. Give not without faith. Shriya deyam. Give with grace. Hriya deyam. Give with humility. Samvida deyam. Give with understanding. Yesha adeshaha. This is the command. Yesha upadeshaha. This is the instruction. Dear students, hearty congratulations of all of you. And now that you have become graduates, you are free to turn your tassel on the left to the right. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Students may please be seated. The respected chairman, Dr. K. Siddhappa, is requested to invite His Holiness Dr. Sri
distinguished guests and others, dear graduate students, and respectful parents and invitees. It gives me immense happiness to participate 7th graduate ceremonies regarding to technology and the earthen system. I am also very happy to learn that out of 791 BE, 29 BTech, 59 MBA, 40 MCA, and 117 MTech students who are graduates today. 735 already got the best match through the competitive tournament budget. Hearty congratulations to all the graduates students, and to all the teachers who successfully graduated and mentored the students. Your professional career starts from today. I am sure that knowledge and skills you have acquired and the health attitude you have developed in your society will stand by you to face challenges of the competitive world. Since most of you are already placed in various companies, I am confident that you will work with the commitment to your professions as if you own the establishment you work for. It is important that you without compromising on your honesty and integrity, develop work culture which results in pleasing your superiors, respecting your colleagues, and helping people who come to you for helping searching today. Please remember that you are the inheritance of the great Indian culture and wisdom. The core value of Indian culture is spirituality. Spirituality does not mean moving away from worldly responsibility. It advocates active life based on universal brotherhood and compassion for all, level scientific temper and respect towards superstitions and religious stigma. Have faith in God who manifests himself through his universal brotherhood to mankind. We are the legal democracy in the world, with a population 133 crores, out of which 57% live in rural areas. And they work hard to produce life necessities to the entire population of the country. But their own living conditions, health care, sanitation, housing facilities, and the schooling system for children lead to be desired. Governments come with various rural development programs from time to time. Successful implementation of these projects depends on the honesty and perseverance of the associated engineers. I am certain that SCT graduates will measure up to the expectations for all their stakeholders. Unfortunately, there is a wide gap in the rich and the poor in our country, which will lead to inability in society if not properly addressed in this context. Some time back, our former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh told a group of youngsters collectors, be immersed and decent but simple life, rescuing conspective consumption and extravagant living. We can recall his economic model of kindness and rasam erected by the 12th century Basain and reformed Basavanam. The model is each and every individual works hard, the other is well, which is only a part of the world which is essential for himself, and the voluntary puts on use just for the common good of the society, thus avoiding, hoarding and judging the poor between the rich and the poor. I my dear children, wherever you are, whatever you do, please remember that you are bright ambitions of society. Society should be known not only for technical competence but also for his sterling character. I wish you all success in your We also wish good health and prosperity to your parents. Please keep in touch with the institute. Please always sharing the progress. Sivam Bhuyat.
The respected chairman, Dr. K. Siddhappa, is requested to officially declare the ceremony dissolved.
I declare this graduation ceremony dissolved.
All are requested to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाता जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I request the rank holders and award winners to please join the stage for a group photo quick. I request all of you to kindly remain standing. The convocation procession would leave the hall now. I request all of you to kindly remain silent till the procession leaves the venue completely.